If you're a registered nurse who's tried dieting, cutting calories, doing more cardio, but the weight isn't coming off or it keeps coming back, this video was made for you. And I want to say you're not broken, you're not lazy, there's nothing wrong with you. You've just been following a plan that does not work with your lifestyle. The problem is that most generic weight loss advice does not work for nurses who are working 12-hour shifts under constant stress and have unpredictable schedules. In 2026, nurses cannot rely on these traditional weight loss advice that was not made for 12-hour shifts. They have to do something different if they truly want to lose weight, keep it off, and tone up. Here's what's really happening for most registered nurses. You're under constant stress, your cortisol's high, your sleep is inconsistent, and you're under eating and overtraining. So when you try the traditional method of cutting calories and doing more cardio, your body actually holds on to the fat instead of burning it. Most nurses aren't failing because they're inconsistent. It's because they're following the wrong plan, and that's why the weight keeps coming back. Now, let's clear things up. When nurses tell me that they want to look toned, what they really mean is they want to look strong, they want to look confident, they want to look lean and fit into their clothes and actually love the body, the woman that's looking back at them in the mirror. You don't get toned by getting smaller. You get toned by building lean muscle while burning fat simultaneously, and cutting calories and doing more cardio is literally working against that objective. The first part of the plan is recovery. Most nurses are under eating one, maybe twice a day, a salad and maybe a chicken breast in there, essentially eating about 12 to 1500 calories, and wonder why they still feel so exhausted and why their metabolism is slow. Your body cannot and will not lose fat if it feels like it's in survival mode. For nurses, this means eating more protein, eating more healthy carbs, and stop under eating while you're working and overeating on your days off. Fat loss happens when your body feels safe, not starved. The second part of the plan is strength training done intentionally. You do not need to work out every day, and you do not need to work out for 2 hours a day, and you definitely don't need to go crazy doing hours of cardio. 3 to 4 strength workouts a week, 30 to 45 minutes, and focusing on compound lifts. Muscle is what gives you that toned look, and most importantly, it's what keeps the weight off and gives you more energy. Now, this is the part a lot of programs out there completely ignore. Fat loss can't happen when your body is extremely stressed. If you're constantly exhausted, pushing through workouts, pushing through shifts, 9 times out of 10, your cortisol is through the roof. And I talk about this extensively in all my trainings. For nurses, fat loss improves when you start eating more consistently, strength training for your goals, and controlling your stress. Your body burns fat when it feels supported, not attacked. The final piece of the plan is building systems and not relying on motivation. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings are temporary. So most of the nurses that come into the program, they're like, when they first start, sometimes they're, I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like going today. I'm tired, I'm cold. And they say they want motivation. Dominion, give me the motivation. Where's the motivation to work out? And what we do is reinforce systems around their lifestyles that bypass motivation, because motivation is temporary, right? And you don't live your life on temporary. You don't live your life on motivation, because I'm sure there are lots of times you don't want to go to work. There are a lot of times you wake up, you don't want to go to work, but you go anyways, despite how you feel, because you got to pay bills, you got people that are depending on you, right? But you have that's a system, that's an internal system. Your body knows that, hey, we need to go to work to make this moolah so we can pay our bills and take care of our business, right? So we develop the same systems within the program for your lifestyle that work when you don't feel like going, when you're tired, when things are not optimal, the stars are not aligned for you to work out, but you still go anyways. You still go to the gym, you still eat the food, you still do what you have to do, and that's when it becomes a lifestyle. Your system needs to become a lifestyle, and then you will never ever need motivation to stay in shape. I see this over and over with nurses that come into the program. They're probably coming in from another traditional plan. They've been cutting calories, they've been doing a lot of cardio, they've been working out 5-6 days a week and still not losing weight, and some, they've actually been gaining weight. And what we do is completely reverse engineer everything that they know. We teach them the right foods to help you get your goals. They start to feel more nourished, and then they start to have more energy. And now it's easier for them to stick to their workouts because not only are we building systems around their chaotic lifestyle, but that energy that they've obtained from eating more of the right foods allows them to stay consistent with doing the workouts. Now we see weight loss dropping. Now we see them having more energy and not being so exhausted. And now they can put that energy into their personal life, into work. And sometimes we see nurses pick up an extra shift or two because they have more energy. And most importantly, we see their health change, not just with the weight. Some nurses who come in and they have like high BP and high cholesterol, we see all of that be eradicated because they're actually doing a plan. They're actually working and committing themselves to a plan, to healthcare for healthcare that is designed for them. So if you're a registered nurse watching this, here's what I want you to do in 2026. Stop cutting calories, stop doing excessive cardio, stop restarting every Monday. Stop following fitness influencers and trying to do their plans, and they're 20 years old, they live in their mom's basement, and they don't have kids, and they don't work, right? Stop following these generic, conventional plans that was never made for a registered nurse's lifestyle. If the plan doesn't work during your hardest weeks, then it wasn't made for you. And sometimes we hear this from nurses, it's not the right time, there's so much going on. And I always challenge them because this is exactly why this is the perfect time to start something like this, because when you can learn the systems in our program, when it's not the right time and you have all these things going on, just imagine what it's gonna be like when it is the right time, right? And things slow down, even though things never really slow down, but because in life it's not one thing, it's another. But just imagine how easier it's gonna be when there are less barriers to resistance, there are less challenges, less obstacles. Maybe you finish school, maybe your kids actually grow up and they move out, and you're actually able to be more committed and more consistent to this because you've already done this when things were hard. So how much more easier can it be when things are a little bit easier? So here's the bottom line. You don't need another diet. You don't need more discipline. You don't need a BBL or Ozempic. And you don't need to be punishing yourself just to change your body and get your goals. You need a plan that actually works for your lifestyle. And may I add, you need a system. You need a system that's able to withstand all the moving parts of your life, both at work and at home. If this video helped reframe things for you, definitely let me know down in the comments. And if you're ready to stop guessing and figuring things out on your own, and you want help to build that system to help you lose 20 to 50 pounds and actually keep it off, click the link in the description and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.